I was scared of being alone, and I remember at some point my counselor even said, if I have to, I'll go be in the delivery room with you. And just knowing like a complete stranger, could love us, could love my baby to that extent, and just be realizing, everything changed for us the moment we found that out. I found out I was pregnant with Saint about 2 months after I celebrated my daughter's first birthday. And, their dad and I were already going through really tough times, just, trying, I got pregnant with Luna really early on in our relationship, and then a second baby kind of added on to the stress. And one of the first things that he said is, we just can't keep it. So he was really pushing for an abortion, and even went, on and said, if you don't have an abortion, then we're not going to be together. So it was obviously really frustrating, really an emotional time, for me, because you don't want to hear that from a partner. And obviously I love kids. I had two at that time already. So the thought of an abortion even, was traumatizing to me, honestly. But so, he kept pushing and pushing, and I actually ended up going to the first appointment at Planned Parenthood. And it was, honestly, that was traumatic in itself. It was an awful 2 hours being there. And, so I left there. Oh, okay. So I left there, and, they had scheduled me another appointment for later on. I was against it, but really wasn't, didn't know what other options were available. And, at that point, I have no family here to help me. So I was like, either I have 3 kids by myself, or I consider this, So I went to go see what what they said, what they had to talk about. And then again, for weeks he kept on pushing for the second appointment. My thing was, I was like, well, if I get there and I can make it, just not really knowing what other options that I hadn't even heard of Let Them Live at that point. I walked in 19 minutes late, and they said that they couldn't see me. They said I would have to reschedule for a later time. They were going to schedule me an appointment at 19 weeks. Yeah. They wanted me to go back at 19 weeks, almost halfway through the pregnancy. And at that point I was like, no, I will find another option. I will have to look at other, find other help. And I was like, but this is just not an option for me. I knew that. So basically being 19 minutes late, kind of saved us. At that point I was already feeling, Saint kick and everything. So I knew he was active. And I was like, I'm not coming back here. So at that point, we went our separate ways. And I was like, either I find resources to help me, or I struggle and figure it out. But there has to be something else. I kept doing my research. I was like, what can I do? I even considered adoption at some point. Just to help me out, because I know there's a lot of, loving people looking for families, but I knew that was going to be a really hard choice for me to make. So I was like, look, I'll rough it out. I'll be a single mom of 3 kids if I have to, but I will find a way to get through this. So I just started looking at, I Googled different, companies that would help, pregnant single moms. And so, I found a lot. I found Let Them Live. And I called them immediately. They were so quick. I talked to my counselor probably within 24 hours of reaching out, and she was so sweet. I still keep in touch with her, actually. Yeah, she was amazing from the start. Oh, yes. She was amazing. She, quickly found me resources, and she, explained to me what Let Them Live could do to help me out. She was able to get me, financial help throughout my pregnancy, and even for a few months postpartum that, really helped me get on my feet, really helped me save, because I wanted to make sure I did the best I could out of my situation. So I saved up so that we could, pay rent. We paid rent for a few months ahead. We made sure we had food. I made sure I didn't have to even leave my house during my postpartum period, because we were just, I had my savings, I had my pantry stocked, I had everything. And she checked up on me all the time. I mean, we were still talking even every week after, like for a month after my postpartum. And she was really amazing, honestly. But apart from just the resources, from Let Them Live, she found me other resources that I could use. Like the pregnancy centers here in Bowling Green. There's diaper banks that I didn't even know about before. Just different, connections that I didn't know about. My first like 3 months were just me stressed out, me frustrated about my situation, me depressed. And they say the babies absorb all of that. And so once I found Let Them Live, it was like a whole kind of like night and day situation for me. And after that, I was like, he's not going to feel anything but happiness and positivity. And, because after that, I was like, I feel like we're okay. Like, we're going to make it out of this. My counselor, she every time she reminded me, she's like, a lot of us go through bad stuff, but she's like, what you make out of it, try to make the best out of it. And she was always happy to see us. She loves Saint. She makes sure that she has a picture of him and she puts it up for Christmas in her tree. I mean, honestly, she's the best counselor, yeah. And I'm sure all of them are, because you guys have such a meaningful and just such a great program and company. So I'm sure everybody with Let Them Live is amazing. Now, we're thriving. I'm in a really good job. I just started a new job. Doing account managing. So, and I finished college. I graduated in May. So we're really thriving. And he's been such a light in our lives. And I can't even imagine. I was like, if I wouldn't have made it 19 minutes late, he wouldn't be here. And I still would have never found out about Let Them Live, because I would have never done my research. As soon as he was born, I was just like, how would I have ever done it, without you? And I don't think people realize that, you go through a bad, I think beginning, and you're shocked and you're frustrated. But these little blessings just, they change your life. They really do.